City. Live from Grand Central Terminal, Vanderbilt Hall in New York City, Extra Frame Online Bowling Channel proud to present the Teen Masters Grand Championships. Time now to go down lane side with our sideline reporter, Elise Bolton. Go, Elise.
All right, well, just a few minutes ago, these two guys were standing behind camera and hoping that he would win, and he pulled out the win for them. What were you guys thinking during his match?
I was really hoping he was going to pull that off for us. If he didn't win, we'd have to go in a three-way roll-off, me, Aaron, and Jacob.
Yeah, I was definitely nervous watching him bowl, but I'm definitely glad that he got the job done.
Now you are the higher-seeded player, do you know what pattern you're going to pick?
I am by far going to pick long.
Any reasons behind that?
Well, short didn't go so well.
How do you feel about this, Aaron?
I don't care, really. I mean, I threw it all right. Or I didn't really throw it that good against Greg, but my ball reaction was okay, so I'm just going to try and make better shots.
All right, and here we go to the last girls qualifying match with the two finalists for the boys' championship.
It's Team USA's Elise Bolton joining us along the sideline here in Grand Central Terminal, and warm-ups are being completed. Number 1 seed Ashley Dunn and number 2 seed Haley Rubin, and this match is really immaterial as both players are already seeded into the championship match as PBA Tour champion Brian Zizek returns to the booth. And Brian, it's a preview for the girls championship coming up later here at 3:30.
Well, if you have a preference to the pattern, you're going to want to win this match as to what pattern you want to get out there. I mean, being 3-0 going in is nice, but the ability to be able to pick the pattern for that girls championship being 3-0 is even better. So it may not seem that there's a whole lot riding on this match. There really is. If one of the girls gets comfortable right here on the pattern that they're bowling on now, they'll probably, if they win this match, they'll probably stick with the same pattern. That way they can stay in their comfort zone.
So getting set for the final of our best of 2 competition in our 12 preliminary round matches, as the championship matches are all best of 3 games in the best of 2 format. If you win 2 games, you win the point, and if you split the games, you go to sudden death roll-off to determine the match winner. So here they are, Haley Rubin and Ashley Dunn, as we get set to begin competition. See if Gary turns them loose here. And there is tournament manager, founder, Gary Beck.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is our final round of qualifying for the girls. Our number 1 seed, Ashley Dunn from Palmdale, California, will face Haley Rubin from Brandon, South Dakota. The match is best of 2. First bowler to win 2 games wins the match. If they split 1-1, they go to sudden death. Let's give them a round of applause and good luck, ladies.
And we're off. Final best of 2 here, Grand Central Terminal. Glad you're with us around the world live on Extra Frame as we bring you the action from Grand Central just outside 42nd Street there and Vanderbilt Hall. And the number 1 seed Ashley Dunn will get started here in our final preliminary best of 2 matchup. And fans the headpin wide. So it's like a boxing match. These two are going to get a chance to kind of feel each other out and prepare themselves both mentally and physically for the girls' championship coming up at 3:30.
A little different wrinkle with the best of 3, though. You don't have to worry about if you're down 1 game. Now you know you're going to have to get into a roll-off in order to win. At least in the best of 3 games, you know, you lose the first game, you just win the next 2, and you'll be all right.
Haley Rubin on the day yesterday defeated Jessica Davies in her opening match, coming back from down 0-1 to win the second game and win the roll-off. And then Rubin went on to beat Melanie Hannon last night in our nightcap match, and now here she is. And both opening shots a bit errant. One wide right and the other wide left.
Yeah, it looks like they're just getting the feel for what's out there again. Like I said, a little more humid today. They're bowling a little bit later in the day. It's a little warmer now than it was 3 hours ago when the boys started. So.
So spare a piece. Our final preliminary round best of two. We've had the 12th now, 11 previous, and we have a boys final. As we heard from Elise Bolton, Greg Young, and Aaron Uratovich will meet in our first boys championship match coming up at 2. That'll be best of 3. And then this matchup you're watching now will be for real at 3:30 with the girls championship. As it happens, this is just the last in the round robin competition, and it doesn't play into the standings. Each player is 2-0, and no matter who wins or loses, both will advance to the championship match.
There, despite the fact that this match really has no impact on anything, they're both in the final. Ashley Dunn's going to be able to pick the pattern for the final, even if she loses, because they're going to give the qualifying high seed the choice. And I believe they're actually bowling on the long pattern, although we have someone going to confirm that right now. I think Ashley may just want to see what her look is on the long pattern. That's why she picked it for this match. Yeah, they're definitely on the long pattern.
Yeah, if they're playing in there, they're definitely looking at the long pattern here.
If she picked the long pattern in the final against Haley Rubin, it would be the biggest mistake since Custer, I think.
Ashley's done, and her run to the championship. She defeated Melanie Hannon yesterday and then beat Jessica Davies.
Yeah, I think you're right here, Jason. I think she's just trying to get some kind of look just to see what she has on this pattern.
Yeah, so far her looks worse and Haley's is better. Yes. So I think her decision's going to be made pretty quickly and pretty easily as to what pattern she's going to pick for the final. I would be completely shocked if she picked the long pattern for the final.
And it's interesting that we have this situation here because, like we had talked about before, with everything that's happened in the Olympics and everything else, now the difference between sportsmanship and gamesmanship. If you're Haley Rubin here and you have a pretty good look on this pattern, and Ashley Dunn may not, if you're Haley Rubin, do you maybe throw a couple errant shots here? Make Ashley think that, maybe her look isn't so good and she ends up picking this pattern anyway.
The other thing, too, is I don't think Haley bowled on the short yesterday. So it may have been Ashley just saying, I don't want to give her a chance to look at the short until that final match. And that might have been the reason why she picked the long as well.
Brings a lot of interesting different dynamics when you have round robin formats as opposed to just one and done elimination or even double elimination formats. It's there's a lot of different things that can come into play, and right now you're seeing one of them. You have a match where it really doesn't mean much with regards to anything about the Grand Championships, but at the same time maybe you can plant the seed of doubt in your opponent's head either with regards to the pattern or with just if you can get out there and dominate your opponent, saying, well, you can't beat me no matter what.
And, you know, Ashley may even be throwing the ball that she doesn't plan to use on the short just so it doesn't, the oil absorption doesn't change the surface at all for the next round. I mean, we're getting into pretty fine details of strategy, but it's all possible.
When there's $64,000 on the line in scholarships, you can bet that they're thinking about every possible aspect of how it can help them get to the next round, how it can help them in the next round, as opposed to the 2 games now. Both ladies struggling a little bit here. I do find interesting is it is the longer pattern, but they are using, both of them are using the Cyclone, which is the weaker of the bowling balls, as opposed to the Pursuit. But it also seems that both ladies have put quite a bit of surface on these Cyclones. The Cyclones that they're throwing, the black, gold, and silver, come polished. If you notice, as Ashley Dunn is picking up her bowling ball, that ball looks pretty dull to me right now. Even with the lights on, it looks like she's put, you know, what looks like maybe either a 500 grit or a 1,000 grit Avalon pad to it. A conversion here from Ashley Dunn. We will have an even match through 4.5. But with a chop, it is now a 12-pin lead for Haley, 11-pin lead for Haley Rubin. As you can see in the background, it is lunch hour here in New York City. See all those people in the background for most people, yes.
Yeah, most people.
All those, not for us. For those people in the background, you can see the streams of people coming in off of 42nd Street. In the background there, they're packed in 3, 4, 5 deep there now. And if you think that's a lot now, wait till about 5:30. Better shot there by Haley.
Brian, this championship is being conducted with only 2 options for strike balls for the competition. The Ebonite Pursuit or Pursuit S and the Ebonite Cyclone are the only 2 pieces of equipment allowed for striking here in competition.
Well, being an Ebonite staffer myself, I've thrown both balls numerous amounts of times. You know, the Cyclone being the weaker of the 2 bowling balls, but I got to tell you, I've thrown that ball quite a bit, and to say it's weaker is you know, kind of downplays the ball's dynamics. But be that as it may, just being able to only throw 2 bowling balls, it does level out the playing field a lot for these competitors, and which is why you're seeing the cream rise to the top. A guy like Cameron Doyle, who led qualifying, but when he gets here, then you get into the format of single game matches, 2-game matches, where it's really a coin flip, and if you have a bad break either way, you can lose matches, and that's why he's not in the boys' championship coming up later today. Ball change there from Ashley Dunn.
So the limited selection of equipment, a part of this entire process, and then bowling on the long and the short pattern, and then even the mixed patterns on some occasions at match play, with one lane being one way and one lane being the other way. So the Team Masters program really is putting the challenge into the problem-solving equation for these youth players.
It makes them think. I mean, bowling now is more has it's always been a thinking person's sport, but even now more than ever, with regards to surfaces and different lengths of patterns, trying to get your roll to match up not only to the pattern but with the ball that you're throwing. As you can see right now, Haley Rubin is still throwing the quote-unquote weaker of the two bowling balls, the Cyclone, and you can see how it's entering the pocket, not nearly as strong as Ashley Dunn's last ball where she threw the Pursuit. And I do remember the PBA. We had a tournament at Babylon the year before the plastic ball tournament, with the one that Jason Belmonte won. They did have, I believe it was Viper on one lane and Shark on the other, and that was the show where Jason Belmonte ended up throwing a plastic ball on the Viper pattern when he beat Mike Fagan, Bill O'Neill on the show. It just brings that much more of thinking into what these competitors are doing.
Do you know if he threw plastic during the week on the Viper pattern as well?
Offhand, I don't remember that tournament as well as the following year. So
yeah, you remember. You'll never forget the one the following.
I did not bowl badly that year. I believe I finished 24th, but I don't remember. I don't recall him throwing the plastic ball on the Viper pattern. As another great shot by Ashley Dunn there. And she has switched balls. She has gone to the Pursuit, the stronger of the two bowling balls. We'll see if Haley decides to follow her in that regard after her last shot hit the pocket and really did not hit very well. It's that swish zone again on these deader sideboards based on the one lane configuration, and she left a weak 5-7, so we'll see if she goes to her Pursuit here.
Well, she's so much for that theory of keeping the ball in the bag to prevent oil absorption.
Yeah.
She's trying to win the match.
As you can see, she still has not gone to the stronger ball, and the ball in the back part of the lane is just having a hard time creeping up to the pocket. A 13-pin match right now. Ashley Dunn getting up in the top of the 8th frame here. Strike here can give her a 23-pin lead.
Haley Rubin reminds me, Mike J., of Morgan O'Brien, who won a couple of years ago. She's got that same smile all the time and the high energy and very intense.
Definitely has a crowd behind her, too.
But Ashley Dunn's the two-time defending under 14 girls champion.
And with shots like that, you can see why. She made a ball change, now has thrown 3 in a row since the ball change.
Yeah, the last 3 years, you can't do much better than Ashley Dunn's done here. She's won the under 14, and then she leads the the high school division in her first year of eligibility.
Surprised Haley still is going with that Cyclone. Seems to make a move right there.
The old dead 10.
You can see the difference, though, between the two bowling balls. This is the longer patterns, and you can see the difference between their two bowling balls entering the pocket. Ashley Dunn's ball is driving when it gets to the 1-3, whereas Haley Rubin's ball right now is not. It's just not quite getting around the corner. And with the weaker of the two bowling balls on the longer pattern, it's making a difference right now.
Just gets it before it falls off the cliff. Luckily, the lane was not 61 feet.
I know my spare percentage would be far less than if it was 61 feet.
That extra foot makes all the difference.
Hey, it's Mike J. Laneside coming at you live with PBA Tour Champ Brian Zeisig, and the bowling guy is Jason Thomas. Team Masters Grand Championships, our final preliminary round competition. Ashley Dunn interrupting the string, and Haley Rubin are both 2-0, as you see there on the scoreboard, and they will both advance to the girls' championship match coming up at 3:30. This is the final round-robin match as they spar with each other in advance of our girls' championship. This is best of 2 competition. The winner of this game will earn game, and then either the player will win 2 games or we'll have a 1-1 tie in that event. Best of 2 means we'll have a sudden death roll-off to determine the match winner. All of our championship round competition tonight and this afternoon will be best of 3. Nobody misses the 5-pin.
That's the second time she's missed it, though, in this tournament, Mike J. She missed it yesterday on the short pattern. And, you know, that's a... Obviously, this match is fairly meaningless, but, you know, if that were to happen in the championship match, she just let Haley Rubin right back in this game.
We're live at Grand Central Terminal in Vanderbilt Hall, just outside the main ticketing area, literally adjacent to 42nd Street here in Midtown Manhattan. Glad you're with us wherever you're at on the online bowling channel, as the Professional Bowlers Association and Killer Bee Promotions have teamed up for the 2nd year in a row to bring you this great Team Masters action live.
Like the ball change there, Brian.
Yeah, she probably thought that was going to hook a little bit more. My advice to her would have been to just stand in the same spot that she was throwing that cyclone with the pursuit and see if that ball was going to drive a little bit more. It looked like she not only made the ball change, but she moved a little bit left. There's your point about the left side of the lane being hooking a little bit more.
Yep.
Probably a little bit more than they're used to.
Well, so much for, I guess, when people don't make you pay for missing the 5-pin, there's no incentive to learn how to make it, right?
5 pins and 2 shots. Here's a winner for Ashley Dunn. She has a very angry look on her face when she's about to throw the ball, doesn't she?
Yes.
Very intense.
She's so shy too. I mean, in the interviews, I mean, it's almost impossible just to get a word out of her. But then when she gets out on the lane, you know, she's like Superman, Superwoman.
Well, it's one of those things, you know, it's been talked about for years and years and years with regards to the fact that Walter Ray is probably, if not the most dominant figure in our sport, has been for 20-something years. And people have always said, well, he's a little timid, he's a little shy, he's this or that. You can't make someone be someone they're not. If their natural personality is to be a little bit more reserved, a little bit quieter, you can't just all of a sudden make them be this outgoing person. It doesn't work that way. It's kind of similar to trying to make Pete Weber be quiet.
Right.
I mean, he's not going to. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. He's going to go out there and he's going to be as intense as he possibly can every time he's out there. And it shows.
So 181 for Ashley Dunn.
It's like Haley Rubin didn't like that look with the bucket with the pursuit, so she just went right back to the Cyclone. Like a little slower ball speed there. Got it in a little bit more. Trying to circle it just a little bit more, slower ball speed for the fast 8 there. See if she continues to move in as the next match goes on. Looks like she went the other way. She moved way right. That's what these matches are for, though. Getting your ball reaction, trying to figure it out, trying to figure out what's going to work best for you for the title match.
That's the end of game 1. Miss Dunn wins 181 to Miss Rubin's 155.82. Haley Rubin must win to extend the match with sudden death vote.
So who's going first, Mike J, in the championships? Is it the boys' final or the girls' final?
Glad you asked, Jason. Our championship round coverage continues here at Grand Central Terminal. The boys' championship featuring Aaron Uratovich and Greg Young gets underway at 2 Eastern. The girls' championship with a repeat of the match you're watching right now at 3:30 Eastern, and then we'll have our boy champion and our girl champion face off for the $64,000 scholarship prize at 7 Eastern Time tonight, live from New York City. Zakatori won last year and pocketed the $64,000 scholarship. He also got to bowl at the World Series of Bowling. This year, a little something different. The Collegiate Team Masters was held, and the winners of the Collegiate Team Masters each have earned a berth into this year's World Series of Bowling, and that kicks off November 2nd. World Series of Bowling 4 at South Point Hotel, Casino, and Bowling Center, November 2nd through the 11th. For information for PBA members, the 4th World Series of Bowling kicks off November 2nd, and entries are now open. Visit pba.com for more information.
Brian, what's the opposite of leapfrogging? This match.
I was gonna say, is that like what rhymes with orange?
So usually when you see leapfrogging, it's people jumping over each other left, and these girls both have moved back right.
Yeah, it's interesting to see if they're just trying anything and everything before they get to their final match. Well, right now Ashley Dunn's look does seem a little bit better than Haley Rubin's. Haley looks like she's right on top of that. A little bit of out of bounds that's that's prevalent with the long pattern, the out of bounds. Looks like she's a little bit tight with her line there, and she's just not relaxed enough to just let it go and get the ball down the lane. As you can see, the last 3 shots have either gone high or Brooklyn. that ball change I wanted to see from her earlier. She only threw it once. Let's see what happens this time.
Try it from out, and that thing's a dead hook.
Yeah.
That's not the answer.
No, still not in the right part of the lane, I don't think.
Yep.
Yeah, good place to try it. Rubin down a game. This match is immaterial in the sense that both Dunn and Rubin have already advanced to the girls' championship, but opportunity for each to experiment a little bit, prepare themselves for the physical part of the game and strategy, and also for the competitor they will face, as one of these two girls will advance to our grand championship final tonight and bowl for a $64,000 scholarship. So either Haley or Ashley will be a part of our grand championship final tonight at 7 against the boys champion in a best-of-3 match for a $64,000 college scholarship. Second year in a row that Teen Masters has provided that prize. Look at the approach of Dunn here from profile.
She just seems to be a little bit more aggressive playing further to the right. I mean, I think if Haley Rubin maybe were to lengthen her swing, get a little bit more ball speed, she might be able to hold the line from out there. But based on how she's throwing it right now, I just don't see it being able to work because, like I said, she's right on that fine line to where if she leaks it out, she's going to be hitting that out-of-bounds area on the longer pattern. And when that happens, if you can't get your swing loose enough, the tendency is to grab it at the bottom of the swing, and that's what we've seen from her over the last few frames. One pin match in the fourth frame here with Ashley Dunn up 1-0. Three, 6, 9, 10, even more difficult for the lower rev rate players as a spare. You can see the boys, when they were shooting at that, they did not go to their plastic ball. They were throwing a ball that had a little bit more surface to it. Ashley Dunn has chosen to go with her plastic ball, a little bit straighter line at the spare, and a very nice conversion.
It's the rash way. Made that spare in the 9th frame at the Tournament of Champions to give himself a chance to lock out Ryan Simonelli, which he did on the first shot with the strike.
It was one of the first conversations I ever had with Parker Bone III. I was bowling a regional back in '96, and he was crossing next to me most of match play and wanted to know why I was hooking the ball at all of my spares. And I really didn't know any better at that point. And he said, you'll learn out here eventually that you're going to need to go straight at all your spares. Get yourself a plastic ball. Keep the game as simple as possible, especially when it comes to your second ball. And right there is where you just saw Haley Rubin's ball reaction. She's right on that fine line of where the OB is just a little bit right of where she's looking, and that's where she leaked it to that time, and the ball never had a chance.
Yeah, changing balls and playing there is not going to make any difference. Just a hint.
And back inside now. Good cover, though. I mean, it's still a one-pin game. As lost as Haley's looked over the first 4 frames, she's right there. Keeps making her spares.
Yeah, if she gets inside a little bit and moves left, at least the lane's flat, because where she is right now, it's a rooftop.
Yes. The word we used for our teams out at the USBC National Tournament was the cliff.
Right.
You know, the cliff was on board 7. Once you threw it right at the cliff, it was either 3 off the right or 0. You just don't want to throw it over the cliff. And that's where she is right now. I mean, she looks like she's looking around 8, 9. And if she hits 7, the ball's over the cliff, and it's never going to get there, similar to that shot right there from Ashley.
Yeah, you can also use that term when you talk about wet-dry lanes where you have oil to your left, and it's usually that's a good thing, but in certain situations, like we saw at the mixed doubles at South Point, that actually can make the lanes a little tougher. They bowled on the white pattern back there at South Point, and the score started off astronomically high, and then as the lanes got wet dry, the scores came down.
That's one of the things you see though with the new balls and the fact that they, you know, mutate the patterns the way they are. Easy lanes rarely ever get easier, and you know, hard lanes rarely ever get harder as you're bowling. And this is right here is why you can see Haley Rubin was fooling around with stuff a little bit further right, going to the stronger ball, because when she's playing them in right now, the ball's not driving through the 1-3 at all. Ball's hitting very, very flat. That's the second time she's left a combination of the 5 and the 7 in the pocket in the 15 frame she's bowled so far.
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to what you were saying about wanting to see her try the pursuit, because she threw it once and left a bucket, and you know, a bucket's pretty close. Make a little, maybe a board right adjustment and see what it does. Give it a little bit more of a chance.
Now, even a hand position change, or a little bit of a speed change, you know, bring the ball speed down. But you know, even with 7-2 there, she actually gained a couple pins. You know, she was down 1, and now she's up 1 going into the 6th frame. I would like to see her though throw that pursuit from the same spot she just threw that cyclone. Like you said, Jason, she only tried it once from there. She went bucket, and the only other time she's ever tried it is when she's moved too far right of the pattern. Better shot there from Ashley.
Ashley's really, really good at going up the lane and playing really tight, whether it's on a short pattern or a long pattern. That's her A game, and she can keep the ball away from that cliff on the long pattern better than any of the other girls, because she's a little bit more direct and she's got a lot of ball speed. And that's why she's been so dominant in this tournament the last several years, because she's got to stay out of trouble on these tough conditions.
Yeah, she's got a game that translates well from the long pattern to the short pattern. See what kind of adjustment Haley makes here off the 4-5-7. She's still going to throw that cyclone. Let's see if she moves her feet a little bit or gets her hand around it a little bit quicker. She looks frustrated.
And she's close, at least hitting the pocket with that ball, but you know, a 4-5-7. That's pretty much the bottom of the barrel in terms of the ball hitting.
Yeah.
So when you see the ball do something like that, you know, that's a big red flag that you need to try something different.
She's going in the right direction with that 4-pin. Now let's see if she can, you know, tweak a little bit here or there to still get that ball to finish, but get a little bit lighter in the pocket. But based on ball reaction right now, I think you're looking at the 3:30 match that they're going to have the best of three. It seems right now that it's Ashley's to lose. It looks like the only way she's going to lose that is if she beats herself, unless Haley finds something. Conversion there. A 2-pin match going into the bottom of the 7th. Ashley Dunn up 1-0. Haley Rubin can win this match. We will go to a sudden death, 1-ball roll-off. Let's see what Haley does here off the 4-5-7 2 frames ago, and then the 4-pin.
Back right.
It's getting better. It looks like she's getting her hand a little bit around the side of the ball a little bit more, and it's allowing the ball to store a little bit more energy for when it gets to the back end. It does look like the ball's going sharper left than it did 2 frames ago. But you can see by the smirk on her face that she is she's getting tired of hitting the pocket and not getting 10.
Yeah, she's running out of options.
Stays clean, still has very, very the slimmest of leads. You can hear in the backgrounds they're making announcements inside of Grand Central Station.
Ashley just chucking it at the head pin.
She hasn't really thrown a quality shot in a little bit here. She may be feeling that little bit of tightness that comes from playing a little bit too close to the cliff. And she may even have to move a little bit left just to get away from it. Maybe use some of the portion of what she's beat up now, playing out there, playing around 8-9. Maybe try to use some of that as something to bump off of. See that? 1 strike and 7 frames, and she's still having fun out there. It is possible, folks, to have fun bowling. It is.
No, she got the 5 out. Sure, she's not used to leaving the 4-5-7 very often.
No, I'm sure that's.
And that's happening because she can't, she doesn't have the ball speed or the rev rate to get the head pin off the wall back into the 4-7.
Especially on the dead side walls here.
Yeah, and the ball's not going through the pin strong enough to carry into the 5-pin. It's deflecting and.
Oof, mistake there.
I think what we're seeing here a little bit is just kind of mental fatigue.
She only got 1.
A little bit of mental fatigue and maybe going through the motions a little bit.
Yeah, their mindsets right now are probably just, try to make good shots and get ready for 3:30. At this point, I think they're both probably thinking more about lunch right now than. That was a pretty good shot right there from Ashley, but
Yeah, I mean, for her to strike from there, it has to be a pretty good
yeah,
shot. There's really not a lot of room for error.
Not much at all. And we have said it before, this match doesn't mean a whole lot when it comes to the positioning of either of the two girls for the final match. But if you're Haley right now, you want to see a strike right there, which is really good. But you want to see something that gives you confidence. I mean, her last 4 shots have hit the pocket. She's gone 4-5-7, 4-pin, 7-pin, and 4-7 where she barely got the 5 out, and then that strike. You want to see something to build off of, something to build positive going into that championship match at 3:30. You don't want to be going into the break here, because the only thing she'll be thinking about at lunch is, well, what am I going to do? What can I do to get my ball to get through the 1-3 a little bit better? So it is important for her, even if she doesn't win this game and it doesn't go to a roll-off, to finish out strong. As Ashley Dunn leaves the baby split. Conversion here will force Haley Rubin, based on her count, based on Ashley Dunn's count, with a conversion, would force Haley Rubin to throw at least 1 strike in the 10th, if not 2. And that's a good conversion there. .162 in the 9th, spare up in the 10th. Strike here is big, gives her 182, forces Haley Rubin to throw 2 in the 10th to extend this to a 1-ball roll-off. Count there, gives her 180. Haley Rubin needs the first 2. Strike 9 spare. We would give us another roll-off before the roll-off. And a 7 count there means Ashley Dunn has won this match. She goes 3-0 in round robin play. Haley Rubin will end up 2-1. Going into their championship match, which will be at 3:30 after the boys' championship between Aaron Yuritovich and Greg Young.
Well, that'll wrap up our preliminary round coverage here at the Grand Championships of the 2012 Teen Masters. We invite you back at 2 Eastern for the Boys Championship. Aaron Yuradovich will face Greg Young. The Girls Championship at 3:30 as Ashley Dunn will face Haley Rubin. And coming up at 7 p.m., Boys Champion versus Girls Champion in the Grand Championship, $64,000 college scholarship on the line. For Brian Zeisig and for the bowling guy Jason Thomas and sideline reporting from Team USA's Elise Bolton, this is Mike J. Laneside inviting you to get out and throw the ball as soon as you can. Enjoy the great sport of bowling with family and friends, and we will greet you very shortly, 2 p.m.